Hey guys, welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am the host and creator, Teresa Caesar. My intention for this podcast is to deliver to you wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness through solo episodes and conversations amongst insightful people. It is my greatest honor to bring to you talks that come from the heart. As I began to love myself, I found that anguish and emotional suffering were only warning signs that I was living against my own truth. Charlie Chaplin. Do you feel like you love yourself? What does self-love look like or feel like to you? I've come to learn that self-love is the foundation and basis for all the love that flows from our hearts to others and essentially the world around us. Self-love is a powerful thing to practice. I believe when we practice self-love, in that we honor who we are, where we came from, and courageously decide where we want to go and who we want to be. However, it isn't always super easy to take the time to reflect on this concept, much less take the time needed to learn how to practice self-love and implement it. We all work or have school, family, and just life in general, leaving us to respond with a flight or fight, drained, fear-based energy, and resulting us to be pulled in multiple directions. We are then left with an empty cup that we so desperately seek outside of ourselves to fill. If this sounds like you or anyone you know, I've got the solution. In this episode, I will share with you how you can start filling your cup, how you can start showing up for yourself more powerfully and achieve authentic self-love. Friends, let's get started. Love energy to self-love. Affirmation. Love is my superpower and strength. Did you know that love is the purest and highest form of energy on this planet? All energy vibrates at different levels, but love vibrates at the highest frequency. Accessing love energy begins with loving yourself. So that leads me to self-love. What is self-love? Self-love is the unconditional support and compassion you give yourself that ultimately results in improved physical, mental, and emotional health, energy, healing, happiness, fulfillment, confidence, harmony, balance, and the overall well-being of the mind, body, and soul. Let's talk authentic self-love. I love to use the word authentic because I'm all about keeping it real. Authentic self-love is naming it, defining what you want it to look like and feel like for you. For me, this year, self-love is peace. Right now, to love myself, I'm protecting my peace. But really, that's my synonym for self-love. We are the ones responsible for keeping ourselves full of love by giving ourselves 3 gifts: the gift of time, the gift of boundaries, and the gift of grace. I'm going to deep dive into each of them and give you an affirmation. So the first one, gift of time. Affirmation. I am the master of my time. The way we spend our time defines who we are. Jonathan Estrin. So think about it. Where attention goes, energy flows. Your focus is your power. Where you're putting attention and energy towards is what you are going to see in your life. It's so important to honor your time and spend it wisely because you don't get it back. The gift of time encompasses time alone to think, reflect, dream, time to go on solo excursions or dates, and literally block it off your calendar. So if someone asks, hey, can you do this? Can you go here? You look at your calendar and you know that it's time for yourself. And you say, I'm sorry, I've got something super important that day. Take time to revisit or revamp beliefs about yourself and the world. Take time for self-care. Go get those massages. Go get that wax. Go get the pedicure, the facial. Time to practice gratitude. time to celebrate your wins. Take time to pause or do nothing at all. Time and effort in getting ready for the day. Wake up early to pick out that cuter outfit, to do your hair. Take time to practice mindfulness. Time for eating healthy. Time to be more intentional in your choices and how you're showing up. Time to create order in your environment. Because if your environment's out of order, your inner world will reflect that. Take time out into nature. Time towards cultivating romance and passion. If you don't have a romantic relationship in your life, you can feel more romantic and passionate. I have this quote by Sarah Van Bronick. She says, the only thing you must do to live a deeply romantic life is to base every decision you make on love. Self-love, love of others, love of ideas, activities, and places, love of smells, tastes, sights, sounds, and textures. Living this way brings romance into the smallest, most ordinary moments and leads to a lot of large and extraordinary ones. So tune into that energy and you will attract from that place. And last is take time to just appreciate and smell the roses. And don't bypass the flowers when you go to the store. A lot of times we're waiting for someone else to gift us appreciation, someone else to gift us the flowers or the treats, but be the one to do it for yourself. Remember, you're the one in charge of filling your own cup. So those are just some ideas for how you can gift yourself time. And I'm sure that you can think of many more to add to that. The next is the gift of boundaries. The most compassionate people are also the most boundaried people. Brene Brown. When I heard that quote, I thought, I want to be super compassionate. So guess what? I'm going to throw up some boundaries. And that seems to be really hard for us. We feel like we're the bad guy, and often we don't know where to look. And I do have a great source for a deeper dive on boundaries. If you go to www.scienceofpeople.com, setting boundaries, it's a powerful page that has step-by-step how to use the words for different types of boundaries for different types of people. But just really quick, we talk about them usually in relation to other people, but I want to flip it a bit. In some ways, boundaries are really about the relationship with yourself. They help you honor your needs, goals, feelings, truth, energy, and values. So when you think of boundaries, it's not about the other. Think about it as a boundary with yourself. It's all about you. And where would you like to set boundaries? We have emotional, energy boundaries, time, personal space boundaries, sexual boundaries, moral and ethics, material possessions and finances, and social media, just to name a few. Next is the gift of grace. Grace happens to give us some space, acceptance, and room to take a hard swallow or step back. Diane Boundy. Affirmation. I live within the vibration of pure grace. Giving yourself grace is permission to forgive your mistakes, lapses in judgment, unfavorable behavior, and release shame. We are taught to treat people how we want to be treated, but we forget to honor and treat ourselves with the utmost kindness and respect. So tune into the vibration of grace because there is an infinite amount. Every day, every minute, you can start over again. Giving ourselves grace can help us make small, lasting changes that help support our goals, mental and emotional health, and overall well-being. Some ways to live within the vibration of grace are to be real, not perfect. Trust yourself and trust yourself over and over. That's how you get better at it. Let go of self-punishment and self-sabotage. Give yourself permission to not do everything. Do one thing a day you're proud of and or that takes courage. Release guilt for taking time for you, for putting yourself first, and for changing your mind. You're allowed to switch it up and change your mind. Giving yourself time, putting up boundaries, and giving yourself grace fills your cup and keeps it sustainably full. But let's talk about what steals, empties your cup, the love energy thieves. Negative self-talk, judgment, not recognizing addictive behavior patterns or dependencies, over-reliance on outside circumstances to initiate change, victim and blame mentality, feeling unworthy of happiness, love, success, and what you desire, seeking validation, not eating right, not exercising, not doing what you love, resentment, unable to forgive yourself or others, perfectionism, people pleasing, gossip, hanging out with the wrong tribe, comparison, thinking you're better than others, thinking others are better than you, stuck in the past or worrying about the future, living out others' expectations and dreams. So those are love energy thieves. And just as it is important to give yourself the gift of time, gift of boundaries, and the gift of grace to fill your cup and empower yourself, it is so important to protect what you have filled within yourself by not letting any of the love energy thieves steal any of that. Self-love is the unconditional support and compassion you give yourself and is a powerful thing to practice that ultimately results in improved physical, mental, and emotional health, energy, healing, happiness, fulfillment, confidence, harmony, balance, and the overall well-being of the mind, body, and soul. I believe when we practice self-love, in that we honor who we are, where we came from, and courageously decide where we want to go and who we want to be. As you can see, authentic self-love is creating your own unique harmony with the gift of time, healthy boundaries, and infinite grace. The opportunity to craft a life that's full of love is the greatest gift we can give ourselves and to the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please download, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, be sure to visit my website at teresacaesar.com to check out my inspirational merch, connect to my social accounts, and much more. May you continue to be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness. Otherwise, friends, I will be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Heart to Talk.